What's going on, yo? What's going on? What's going on? Well. First, like, share, subscribe, hit the super chat. Well. Where did the ladies think they were going? Mr. Z said tied by the hip. So some of y'all checked out the link already. I have that. I have another link. We're gonna be talking about the man keeping thing. This stream shouldn't be too long, right? Um, we've been kind of sparse in the beginning of August with the streaming. I'm gonna try to start picking up steam with that. Um, but we'll work through August. We'll see how this goes. But yeah, let's start off with this because there's something very important. Mr. Z said tied by the hip. Men and women are tied by the hip. Black men and black women are definitely tied by the hip. There's a lot of weirdos that think you gonna progress women without the men. How's that gonna work? Unless you eat in vagina, of course. So if you munch it on each other, then yeah, maybe, possibly, probably not. Anyway, continuing. And before we do that, fair use, fair use, fair use, fair use. And here we go.
Have you noticed something pretty striking happening with adult relationships in America lately? It seems like people are way less likely to be married or even living with a partner compared to the past.
Oh, definitely. It's a big shift.
We hear a lot about, teens dating less, but this adult thing feels deeper, maybe. So our mission today is really to dig into this relationship recession using the insights you've pulled together. What's actually going on?
Yeah, it's quite stark when you look at the numbers. The national marriage rate, it's hovering near its all-time low.
Wow.
And get this, for the first time, like ever in recent generations, women under 35 are now more likely to be living with their parents than with a spouse or partner.
Living with their parents. That's quite a reversal from...
Wait a minute. Wait. Skrr. Wait a minute. Right? Rest in peace, Takeoff. Skrr. Wait a minute. Women under 35 living with their parents. Now, wait a minute. Are men under 35 living with their parents more and more? Yes. But when we heard that a few years ago, the men were all type of incels and sleeping on their mother's couch and sleeping in their parents' basement, their mother's basement, right? Wait a minute. Did Z not say this? Mr. Z said, Golden Girls, I meant it the way I said it the first time. Huh? These ladies are living with their mothers and their older and younger sisters and their aunts. And Mr. Z, being Haitian descent, wouldn't actually see that wouldn't be the end of the world. I mean, it would be good if you were in a relationship. You probably wouldn't be living with your mom if you were in a relationship, with the man, with the black man. But okay, women of America. Okay, fine. Okay, fine. But weren't the women mocking and making fun of the men a few years ago? Huh? So is it when men live with their parents at 35 because they don't have a spouse and there's no real reason to not live with your parents? You don't have any kids, you're not married, so you're going to be in a bachelor pad by yourself, or you're going to be splitting it with one or two roommates and be spending what? 2,200, 2,500, God forbid, $3,000+ with you and a roommate? For what? I mean, are you actually having adult fun? Probably not. Maybe not. Maybe so. It all depends. Huh? So when we heard this about the men, it was time to make fun of and poke fun of and mock and insult. So is it only loser when it's men living with their parents? Or is it also loser when the women are living with their parents? Huh? Would you be a loser if you were with a man? Would you be living with your parents if you had a man? Maybe. Maybe. Right? Rent prices, and Mr. Z been checking that out. Rent prices and mortgage rates and mortgage price. Have fun trying to buy a house right now. So Mr. Z understands. Why Mr. Z is covering this is because we're, once again, tied by the hip. It was never going to just affect the men and the women were going to be straight. Wait a minute, the women earn less than the men. So how is it that the men were going to be living at home with their parents and single unattached women were going to be with who? Wait, the women earn less than the men, but the men are living at home with their parents, their mothers, and the women were out here once again single and unattached, living on their own. Huh? So let's see if we can make it all the way through this. Mr. Z ain't gonna make no promises. Here we go.
You know, have you noticed something pretty striking happening with adult relationships in America lately? It seems like people are way less likely to be married or even living with a partner compared to the past.
Oh, definitely. It's a big shift.
We hear a lot about, teens dating less, but this adult thing feels deeper, maybe. So our mission today is really to dig into this relationship recession using the insights you've pulled together. What's actually going on?
Yeah, it's quite stark when you look at the numbers. The national marriage rate, it's hovering near its all-time low.
Wow.
And get this, for the first time, like ever in recent generations, women under 35 are now more likely to be living with their parents than with a spouse or partner.
Living with their parents. That's quite a reversal from, say, the 70s or 80s.
A huge reversal. It really paints the picture.
So, okay, these are big changes. What are the main theories? What's driving this, do researchers think?
Well, one really prominent idea from Lyman Stone points heavily towards economics.
Economics. How so?
Historically, marriage often provided women with a kind of, well, insurance.
Yeah.
Against poverty, maybe violence, security, basically.
Right.
And even today, a man's life.
Wait a minute. Oh, did we come to this now? Huh? Did we? Black and Latina women who never marry are the least wealthy in the U.S. Uh-oh. Now, this is American women writ large, not just black women in America. But once again, when you follow the numbers, the studies, shout out to Jason Black for going through it. Yeah, white women who were married obviously had more wealth than white women that were single. So that's across the board. Black single women just had the least amount of wealth, period. Also, wait a minute, Z. The average man spends $5,000 to $12,000 more. Excuse me. Let's read that again. The average man spends $5,000 to $12,000 more per year when in relationship. Subsidizing you. Uh-oh. Huh? Yikes. Wait a minute, ladies. So your independence is built off of, maybe Kim Foster could pull that. Chrissy could pull that. Real Talk with Yanni could pull that. And Real Talk with Yanni could pretty much only pull it because she's making some good YouTube money. Y'all better keep on watching her videos. Huh? Can the average black woman pull it? According to what we're listening to now, no. And remember, that's what women writ large. So what does that mean for black women in specific? Once again, tied by the hip. There was no way black single men under the age of 35 were going to be living at home with their parents and the women weren't. Oh, right. As Trell says, sugar daddy subsidy. Yeah, y'all were living with dudes that was 5 and 7 and 10 years older than you. What happens when y'all break up? Ooh. Huh? What happens when you're 34 years old and you break up with the 40-year-old? Back to your mama house. And that wouldn't be the end of the world. Mr. Z, actually, I don't really know how much I have a problem with that other than the fact that the women were talking crap. The world is real. We understand. Many of us had to move back in with parents before. We know we're black in America. But the women were talking crap. Huh? Once again, the average man spends $5,000 to $12,000 per year when in relationships. Say it again, better Z. The average man spends $5,000 to $12,000 more per year when in relationship. Oh boy, that's not how women were framing it, huh? Remember, black men, you're a burden. Remember, black men, the black women earn more than you. Remember, Rebecca Lynn Pope, Tyler Perry, average women and black women and black men on the street all think black women earn more than black men, but in reality black women, just like every other women in America, for the most part, are somewhere around that 50-50 line, or they're being subsidized by the men in their life, their boyfriends, their baby daddies, their husbands, huh? Continuing.
You know, have you noticed something pretty striking happening with adult relationships in America lately? It seems like people are way less likely to be married or even living with a partner compared to the past.
Oh, definitely. It's a big shift.
We hear a lot about, teens dating less, but this adult thing feels deeper, maybe. So our mission today is really to dig into this relationship recession using the insights you've pulled together. What's actually going on?
Yeah, it's quite stark when you look at the numbers. The national marriage rate, it's hovering near its all-time low.
Wow.
And get this, for the first time, like ever in recent generations, women under 35 are now more likely to be living with their parents than with a spouse or partner.
Living with their parents. That's quite a reversal from, say, the 70s or 80s.
A huge reversal. It really paints the picture.
So, okay, these are big changes. What are the main theories? What's driving this, do researchers think?
Well, one really prominent idea from Lyman Stone points heavily towards economics.
Economics. How so?
Historically, marriage often provided women with a kind of, insurance.
Yeah.
Against poverty, maybe violence, security, basically.
Right.
And even today, a man's likelihood of being in a relationship is still pretty tightly linked to his income. Stone's point is, quite frankly, that women generally don't invest in long-term relationships with men who have nothing to contribute economically.
That's a blunt way to put it, but I guess it reflects a certain reality, and the data backs that up.
It does, quite dramatically. Think about this. Over the last 50 years, overall national real earnings have doubled.
Okay.
But for single men without a college degree, their inflation-adjusted earnings around age 45 have actually fallen by nearly 25%.
Fallen by a quarter, while the average doubled. That's staggering.
It is. And it means, like Stone suggests, many younger men just might not fit the traditional image of marriage material anymore.
Mm-hmm.
And John Byrne Murdoch's work really highlights this too. He shows the decline in coupling is sharpest among the poorest groups.
So the economic divide is widening in relationships too.
Exactly. Over the past 40 years, coupling dropped more than twice as fast for people.
Wait a minute. Did Z not say that before? The economic relationship is separating. In other words, people with money are the ones who's getting married and coupling, and the ones who don't have the money like that, they're not getting married and coupling. Uh-oh. Social unrest coming to a city near you. The women want to be Milton Friedman, Frederick Hayek, and Ronald Reagan, Margaret Thatcher, and Ayn Rand, and the men said, "I'd bet." Shout out to Joe. Huh? Because the men and women are once again tied by the hip. Working poor women, working class women, huh? Lower middle class women are saying, "I don't want to get married." And the men said, "I bet." And now those women are living at home with their parents. Huh? You want the elite man, and you said, "I don't want to be around, I don't want to marry the man that's on the same tax bracket as me." And the men said, "I bet." And so if he's living at home with his parents, guess what? So are you. Oops. Huh? About that hypergamy thing and all. Huh? How's that hypergamy thing working? Huh? Once again, continuing.
You know, have you noticed something pretty striking happening with adult relationships in America lately? It seems like people are way less likely to be married or even living with a partner compared to the past.
Oh, definitely. It's a big shift.
We hear a lot about, teens dating less, but this adult thing feels deeper, maybe. So our mission today is really to dig into this relationship recession using the insights you've pulled together. What's actually going on?
Yeah, it's quite stark when you look at the numbers. The national marriage rate, it's hovering near its all-time low.
Wow.
And get this, for the first time, like ever in recent generations, women under 35 are now more likely to be living with their parents than with a spouse or partner.
Living with their parents. That's quite a reversal from, say, the 70s or 80s.
A huge reversal. It really paints the picture.
So, okay, these are big changes. What are the main theories? What's driving this, do researchers think?
Well, one really prominent idea from Lyman Stone points heavily towards economics.
Economics. How so?
Historically, marriage often provided women with a kind of, insurance.
Yeah.
Against poverty, maybe violence, security, basically.
Right.
And even today, a man's likelihood of being in a relationship is still pretty tightly linked to his income. Stone's point is, quite frankly, that women generally don't invest in long-term relationships with men who have nothing to contribute economically.
That's a blunt way to put it, but I guess it reflects a certain reality, and the data backs that up.
It does, quite dramatically. Think about this. Over the last 50 years, overall national real earnings have doubled.
Okay.
But for single men without a college degree, their inflation-adjusted earnings around age 45 have actually fallen by nearly 25%.
It's fallen by a quarter, while the average doubled. That's staggering.
It is. And it means, like Stone suggests, many younger men just might not fit the traditional image of marriage material anymore.
Mm-hmm.
And John Byrne Murdoch's work really highlights this too. He shows the decline in coupling is sharpest among the poorest groups.
So the economic divide is widening in relationships too.
Exactly. Over the past 40 years, coupling dropped more than twice as fast for people without college degrees compared to graduates. That's a complete flip from how things looked around 1980.
A dramatic historic inversion, as he called it. Okay, so the economic angle is really powerful. But wasn't there another massive shift around the 70s? I'm thinking about contraception.
Absolutely crucial point. Before easy, cheap birth control was widely available, sex and commitment were much more tangled up.
Right, the whole shotgun marriage idea. An unexpected pregnancy often meant a wedding, quickly.
Precisely. And economists, George Akerlof and Janet Yellen, they pointed out back in '96 that contraception effectively helped disentangle sex and marriage.
Disentangle. Interesting term.
Yeah, it reduced that sort of implicit promise to stay together just because sex had occurred, or even if a pregnancy resulted. And they linked that in part to a rise in kids born to single parents, especially in lower income groups.
Okay, so we have economics, we have contraception. Is this mainly an American phenomenon, or are we seeing this elsewhere?
Oh, it's definitely not just America.
Yeah.
Gender researcher Alice Evans has shown pretty clearly that coupling is declining, almost everywhere.
Everywhere. Like, why
There,
is...
Iran, for instance.
Yeah.
Annual marriages there dropped something like 40% in just 10 years.
40%, wow.
Yeah. And what's interesting globally is this dual effect of smartphones and social media. On one hand, maybe some physical isolation.
Sure.
But on the other, it's opened women's eyes globally to, possibilities for their own careers, personal growth. Their expectations are rising.
And if potential partners don't support those rising expectations?
Then relationships often falter. Plus, as one veterinarian in Tehran apparently noted, social media tends to glamorize the single life, setting up comparisons with potentially fake idols.
Right, the curated perfection online versus messy reality. So beyond the practicalities of economics and contraception, does this also suggest maybe a deeper cultural thing? Like, are ideas about marriage changing?
I think that's definitely part of the story. There's a growing tendency to see marriage in, let's say, transactional terms.
Transactional? How do you mean?
Like seeing it as insurance, or just pooling resources, or even a lifestyle choice you can just abandon if it's not working out for you personally.
Less of a permanent commitment.
Exactly. It seems to be losing that older sense of being a moral covenant or a big shared public commitment. It's becoming more like a private experiment in self-fulfillment.
And that ties into ideas about freedom too, doesn't it? Is freedom about escaping limits or finding it within commitment?
That's a core tension, yeah.
Yeah.
The modern emphasis is often on freedom from obligations rather than, say, the older idea that real freedom is found through chosen commitments and duties.
It's fascinating how these big ideas filter down. So zooming out, why does this decline in coupling actually matter for society as a whole? What are the bigger ripples?
Well, several big things. First, falling coupling rates are a very strong predictor of falling fertility rates worldwide.
Okay, fewer relationships, fewer babies. Makes sense.
Right. Second, happiness. Research, like from economist Sam Peltzman, strongly links marriage with higher levels of happiness and life satisfaction, even more strongly than income, actually.
More than income, that's significant.
It is. And third, there's the issue of social isolation. Romantic isolation is rising, and it often goes hand in hand with general social isolation. This hits the poor the hardest. They often have less financial security and fewer close friends or long-term partners.
So it exacerbates inequality in a way.
In a sense, yes. And maybe there's even a civic health angle. If family life is seen as purely optional, purely private, does that affect our ability to engage in shared endeavor, the kind of habits democracy relies on?
That's a sobering thought.
Yeah.
Okay, so to try and bring this all together for you listening, it seems this global drop in coupling isn't down to just one thing. It's this potent mix of tough economic realities for many men combined with genuinely rising expectations among women.
Right. And layered on top of that is this deeper cultural shift in how we even think about marriage, commitment, and freedom itself.
Which really leaves us and you with a pretty big question to ponder, doesn't it?
I think so. What does it actually mean for a society when its most basic bonds, like family and partnership, start to be seen as just provisional, as temporary arrangements? And, maybe more importantly, what does it take to build or rebuild a common life where those lasting commitments feel like they truly make sense again?
Not. Oh boy. All right, I see you. Okay. Not them saying that the coupling in relationships bring more happiness than the money. Was Mr. Z the only one that caught that? right? Oh no, don't say that to the ladies. Oh no, not the you can't say that to the people that say I could do better by myself. You can't say that to the women that said I ain't settling. Who wants to be with average anyway? You can't tell them, oh boy, you cannot say to XX chromosome that coupling brings more happiness than the money does. Oh boy, you cannot say that. Oh, yikes. Not the ones that think that being with a man is a burden. Huh? You can't tell that sex that being in a relationship brings more happiness than the money. Oh no. Not the facts getting in the way of their demented, weird, twisted feelings. Oh, yikes. Huh? And yes, y'all heard right, in Iran. Iran is feeling this, not Iran. Yep. Huh? And Gilgami says, internet social media technology is spreading a worldwide psychosis dynamic. Psychosocial dynamic. Why I said psychosis? Psychosocial dynamic. Yeah. Yep. And we are witnessing this in real time. But Gilgami said, we are witnessing this in real time. We are living the history books. Huh? Whatever, well, history book. Whatever they're going to be putting online if they tell the truth. In 30, 40, 50 years, we're living it. Excalibur said, damn, even the Iranian hoes acting up. I don't know why that tickled me. That was funny. Not the Persians. Oh man, not the even the Iranian hoes acting up. That's what it looked like. That's what it looks like, right? Wow. BGS did say something about the environment, huh? Yeah, that's where we at. That's where we are. The women said they want to be with men where they can practice some insane level hypergamy. They ain't marrying unless they marrying all the way up. Put them, beat me up, Scotty. They want to blast off. They want next level hypergamy. And your average men said, I bet. And your elite men said, I'll smash if you look good enough. And they're living at home with their parents in their 20s and early 30s, which wouldn't be the end of the world, but these same women were just talking crap yesterday. They were just talking crap yesterday. Not the women that call men all type of INCLS. Not those women living at home with their parents. I think I sent that to you. I'm mad. I'm so mad I never downloaded that video, man. It was a video of an African sister selling the hell out. What I look like settling for you, Nigerian sister. You could tell from the accent. She was putting on her Nigerian accent. Probably was born and raised in America, but either way, what I look like. And then you look in the background and you could see the staircase and you could see the family photos. And you're like, wait a minute, lady, you're in your parents' house. I know that's not your house. You're in your parents' house talking about what you're not going to settle for. Man, if you don't get the entire hell out of here. But yes, that's what the ladies are doing. Huh? I think Cheryl said it earlier. If you broke, just say that. Huh? Yeah. The ladies don't got it. And that wouldn't be the end of the world if they weren't talking crap. Huh? Sassy begging, aggressive begging. Huh? And that's all it is. Sassy begging and aggressive begging. Huh? So let me see, because I'm gonna have to do this now. So let's see if we play this, right? Okay, let's do this first. Fair use, fair use, fair use, fair use. And then we're going to play this. Okay, so, and wait a minute, can we do it? Yeah, we can. All right, and we're gonna play this, and we'll talk about it on the other side. Here we go.
Sup, fellas? Lock in real quick for me. Hey, do you realize that women would rather die alone than live a life with you? I know. Bold start.
Okay. I don't agree with her. But anyway,
Yeah, I don't like her already.
Yeah, seriously. So look, over the past few months, there have been all these articles published about a manufactured thing. And it's referred to as mankeeping, because if the press isn't writing gender-related stories on a manufactured issue that frames men in a negative light, what else would they be doing with their time? And I'm actually being serious. I'm not even being hyperbolic here. So apparently, mankeeping is a term that was created by a postdoctoral fellow at Stanford University, because of course it was. Her name is Angelica Puzio Ferreira, and it describes the work women do to meet the social and emotional needs of their men in their lives, from supporting their partners through daily challenges and inner turmoil to encouraging them to meet up with their friends. It's not really that much emotional work to like encourage your man to go have fun with his friends. Really? Okay. What I have been seeing in my research is how women have been asked or expected to take on more work to be a central, if not the central, piece of a man's social support system. Angelica, what is the point of entering a relationship? Like, genuinely, I wanna know. I wanna know, because as a woman, and I don't speak for all women, I just speak for myself. As a woman, I'm gonna need some emotional support, okay? Like, that's one of the things you expect in a relationship, right? And by the way, it's a 50-50 thing. I give, I get. It's a beautiful thing.
Yeah, so I've never heard of women needing emotional support in a relationship. Never. Right? So like, guys, I get it. So is it more of a phenomenon recently that guys are relying more on their girlfriends and wives? Apparently so, there's some numbers that back it up, right? And I'm gonna add one reason why as we go through the story, right? So I understand the phenomenon. At the same time, I don't know what's wrong with it. Like, they make it seem like it is happening, hence it is bad. Why is it bad? Wait, you're talking to your partner more, and they're helping you get through tough times. That sounds kind of amazing.
It's funny because, like, historically, the big issue is the different way the genders communicate. So usually with males, these are generalizations, but I think most people can relate to this. You know, women like to vent. Like, oftentimes, I'm having a bad day, I just want to vent about my problems. Don't give me any solutions, okay? Just let me, because I want to figure out what's right for me myself. And if you want to, maybe hours after I vented, propose a solution or two, cool. But understand, most of the time, when women want to vent, they just want to vent, okay? Men are different. I've experienced, and this is pretty much with every guy I've dated, they want to find solutions immediately. Okay, you're talking about this, which automatically means you want me to give you solutions. You want me to give you actionable items. And so that's always historically kind of been the tension. But this story is all about men are undergoing a loneliness crisis, and as a result, they're leaning on the women in their lives for emotional support. And God, don't men suck? Like, that's the—
Yeah, why do we suck because of that? Well, why, okay, by the way, if you're not giving that emotional support, maybe you suck.
Yeah.
So like this whole thing of like man keeping. Oh, now I have to bother telling you, helping you out. Yeah, that's what you do in a relationship. You help each other out. What do you mean you have to bother doing it? Imagine if you flipped it and you're like, woman keeping. Oh, it's taking up all of our time.
Oh, we'd be super offended.
To deal with all the emotional baggage of these women, right? People are like, oh my God, that's so sexist and horrible.
It is, yeah.
Right? And they do it to guys, and it's Tuesday.
So basically, this is all—
We're gonna pause right there real quick. Yeah, that's how annoying y'all are getting with this, ladies. Not the TYT folks saying, okay, look, y'all taking this crap too far with the gender warning. Shout out to all the columnists, right? Y'all heard Anna just called y'all out. Oh, what would they be doing if they're not gender warning? Oh. Yeah, that's where we at with it. Y'all are annoying with this crap. It's either weirdo loser single women or their friends who have relationships or who are in relationships that's still doing the, I got you, girl. I'll gender war for you even though I'm in a relationship. Huh? I'll talk crap about the men for you even though I'm in a relationship. Huh? And y'all writing these columns or typing up these columns, and it's annoying everyone. What exactly would you say you do here? What's the point of this? Shut the hell up. Talk about something more important. Actually, to be fair with you, I think these people are cowards and they don't want to talk about politics and they don't want to talk about the real issues. Huh? This is like cheap, easy stuff. Anyway, continuing.
Sup, fellas? Lock in real quick for me. Hey, do you realize that women would rather die alone than live a life with you? I know. Bold start.
Okay, I don't agree with her. But anyway,
yeah, I don't like her already.
Yeah, seriously. So look, over the past few months, there have been all these articles published about a manufactured thing. And it's referred to as mankeeping because if the press isn't writing gender-related stories on a manufactured issue that frames men in a negative light, what else would they be doing with their time? And I'm actually being serious. I'm not even being hyperbolic here. So apparently, mankeeping is a term that was created by a postdoctoral fellow at Stanford University, because of course it was. Her name is Angelica Puzio Ferreira, and it describes the work women do to meet the social and emotional needs of their men in their lives, from supporting their partners through daily challenges and inner turmoil to encouraging them to meet up with their friends. It's not really that much emotional work to like encourage your man to go have fun with his friends. Really? Okay. What I have been seeing in my research is how women have been asked or expected to take on more work to be a central, if not the central, piece of a man's social support system. Angelica, what is the point of entering a relationship? Like, genuinely, I want to know. I want to know because as a woman,
exactly,
and I don't speak for all women, I just speak for myself. As a woman, I'm gonna need some emotional support, okay? Like, that's one of the things you expect in a relationship, right? And by the way, it's a 50-50 thing. I give, I get. It's a beautiful thing.
Yeah, so I've never heard of women needing emotional support in a relationship. Never. Right? So like, guys, I get it. So is it more of a phenomenon recently that guys are relying more on their girlfriends and wives? Apparently so, there's some numbers that back it up, right? And I'm gonna add one reason why as we go through the story, right? So I understand the phenomenon. At the same time, I don't know what's wrong with it. Like, they make it seem like it is happening, hence it is bad. Why is it bad? Wait, you're talking to your partner more and they're helping you get through tough times. That sounds kind of amazing.
It's funny because like historically the big issue is the different way the genders communicate. So usually with males, these are generalizations, but I think most people can relate to this. You know, women like to vent. Like oftentimes, I'm having a bad day, I just want to vent about my problems. Don't give me any solutions, okay? Just let me, because I want to figure out what's right for me myself. And if you want to, maybe hours after I vented, propose a solution or two, cool. But understand most of the time, when women want to vent, they just want to vent, okay? Men are different. I've experienced, and this is pretty much with every guy I've dated, they want to find solutions immediately. Okay, you're talking about this, which automatically means you want me to give you solutions. You want me to give you actionable items. And so that's always historically kind of been the tension. But this story is all about men are undergoing a loneliness crisis. And as a result, they're leaning on the women in their lives for emotional support. And God, don't men suck? Like that's the-
Yeah, why do we suck because of that? Well, why, okay, by the way, if you're not giving that emotional support, maybe you suck.
Yeah.
So like this whole thing of like man keeping. Oh, now I have to bother telling you, helping you out. Yeah, that's what you do in a relationship. You help each other out. What do you mean you have to bother doing it? Imagine if you flipped it and you're like, woman keeping. Oh, it's taking up all of our time.
Oh, we'd be super offended.
To deal with all the emotional baggage of these women, right? People are like, oh my God, that's so sexist and horrible.
It is, yeah.
Right? And they do it to guys and it's Tuesday.
So basically, this is all viewed as women taking on the role as their partner's unofficial therapist. And by the way, I will admit, I'm sure there are instances where this could go too far. And the man in your life might actually need to talk to a professional who can help in a clinical way. And so make that point when you guys are talking. But anyway, Justin Leoy is a licensed clinical social worker in Brooklyn who specializes in therapy for men. When he sees a new client, one of the first things he asks is, who can you talk to about what's going on in your life? Much of the time, he said, his straight male clients tell him that they rarely open up to anyone but their girlfriends or wives. And some publications have talked about man keeping in a way to basically argue that it's ruining dating for women. According to a Vice article from last month, for instance, they cite a Guardian piece. The Guardian calls man keeping a modern extension of emotional labor, one that turns a partner into a life coach. This isn't about avoiding vulnerability. It's about refusing to carry someone else's emotional weight while getting little to nothing in return. Okay, look, if that emotional support isn't reciprocated, that actually is a problem. But the way that this is being framed for the most part is men are leaning on the women in their lives more for emotional support, and don't they suck? Like that's the feel that I get with the way that these stories are being, or the way these write-ups are
What
framed.
happened to emotional intelligence?
So, You didn't read graphic 5 yet, right?
No, go ahead.
So let me read that because it gives you the substance of what they're talking about. And then I want to comment on what Anna said. In a 2021 survey, 15% of men said they didn't have any close friends, up from 3% in 1990. So that's a big jump from 3 to 15. No close friends. And this is what people are talking about men when they talk about men's loneliness, etc. Same report showed that in 1990, nearly half of young men said they would reach out to friends when facing a personal issue. 2 decades later, just over 20% said the same. That's a giant change, right? So half of guys say, oh yeah, I got a close friend and reach out to, no problem. Only 20% now? So 80% of guys have nobody to reach out to that's a personal, so that's a mountain of a problem, that's real, right? But the answer to that isn't, well, don't ask me then. No, they should ask you more, right? Yeah. Because they need somebody as an outlet, whether it's a therapist. But I think to me, a girlfriend or a wife makes the most sense.
Yeah, I agree. And by the way, like communication is key because everyone has their own habits or their own needs. Like I know for me, I need alone time. Believe it or not, I'm not an extrovert, and sometimes I just kind of want to be left alone to like recharge and think and just do what I do. I don't know. I like solitude sometimes. I communicate that, like, hey babe, quiet time or alone time. And he says the same thing to me when he needs it. And we know not to get offended by it because we recognize one another's needs. That's what it means to be in a relationship. And by the way, if you don't want to make those compromises and those sacrifices, you're not ready for that, that's okay too. But it's maybe not a good idea to kind of like, it's almost like a lot of people, women in social media, like wear a sign, like do not approach me, I don't want anything to do with you. And then they complain about how hard it is to date. Well, you're putting something out in the world and you have to be mindful of that, right?
So there's so much nuance in all this, right? I know why women put up a defensive shield a lot of times because, and a lot of guys don't understand this. So look, 10% of guys are super awkward, right? Whatever the real number is, right? So they'll go up to a woman and make an ass of themselves and make the woman feel super uncomfortable and worried, right? So that makes them put up a wall against all of us. And then 90% of guys who are good guys go and they go, what is this wall about, right? So that's why that exists. And for the guys, part of the problem with, opening up to your male friends is male friends can oftentimes be dicks, right? And I don't mean that in a bad way, like, oh, they're jerks. I mean it as in friends do bust nuts, right? They're tougher on each other. They joke around more, etc.
We women know how to give that empathetic, tender, loving care. You're right.
Yeah, when guys, especially for the old school guys, there's not a lot of, are you all right?
Yeah,
it's more like,
the masculinity like that.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. And like opening up, for good folks, like, the friends I have, of course, are all good guys. If you really open up, then they're like, okay, pause, like time out.
Yeah.
Okay, we'll stop us for a second. Hey, what's going on? We really want to help you, right? But for a lot of guys, you never get to the timeout.
Yeah.
Right? And so they don't even know that they could actually have that conversation. And if they did, the guy across from them probably had similar problems too, right?
Yeah.
But we're too guarded in our own ways to have that conversation.
Maybe we need besties therapy. You know how there's like couples therapy? Mm-hmm. Maybe guy friends need to like go to therapy together.
Yeah, that'll never happen.
It'll never happen.
Okay, right. Not once. Okay, and then finally though, I'm okay. So back to why I'm opposed to this way of thinking that the article's talking about, right? The man keeping and all that. It's because guys, this is less of a male-female thing, honestly. And I'm going to criticize my own side here. Politically, I'm a left-wing populist, but there was a strand going through the left for a while of, it's not my job to do fill in the blank, X, Y, Z, right? So it's not my job to educate you about Muslims, okay? You should go do your own history and not be bigots, etc. But they're not going to do their own reading of Muslim and Middle Eastern history.
Nope.
No, I want people to be decent to Muslims. So if I can, and I know some things they don't, I tell them, right? It's not my job to tell you how to pronounce my name. No, it kind of is, okay? So if you have a name like mine starts with a C, but pronounced like a J, Jenk, it's definitely my job to tell you. Otherwise, you're gonna be like, hey, Stinkwiger. Like, yeah, how are they supposed to know Turkish? So there's this like weird, and this story feels the same way to me, right? Of like, it's not my job to take care of my husband psychologically or emotionally. No, it kind of is. It really is, right? And by the way, of course, vice versa. And if your husband doesn't do that for you, the problem isn't that he's asking for it as well. The problem is he's not delivering on his own end, right?
Good point.
You both have a right to be each other's emotional partners. I thought that's what marriage was for.
Relationships, yeah. I thought so too.
And certainly relationships as well. So this don't bother me attitude is what actually annoys me.
Yeah, me too. That's probably why we both had the same reaction to the video that we started the story with. But anyway, there you have it. You wanna do the emotional labor that's required in a relationship, go for it. If you don't, you're gonna be lonely. It's that simple.
Every time you ring the bell below, an angel.
Once again, and there's certain things TYT does where like, okay, yeah, and other things they're way off the mark. Here, I would say, I think they still off the mark a bit, but the point that I wanted to focus on is that it's not my job, right? So that's why I had to play the whole thing because we had to get towards the end. Cenk didn't say it until the end. It's not my job. Exactly. women in relationships, shout out to Trell and what he said, women in relationships that are so lazy, women that are married that are so lazy, they don't think it's their job. The emotional support, I don't want to get into emotional labor. And if you notice, both Jake and Anna both say, yeah, because men don't do any emotional lifting. Women don't need any help. Right? Yikes. Huh? Like, share, subscribe, hit the super chat. Exactly. When I said tied by the hip years ago, I got a bit of pushback from certain folks. Some people understood what Z was saying. We wear the same jersey color. Right? But Z got some pushback. And here you are. Huh? Young men staying at home longer, right? Young adult men staying at home longer. Society makes fun of them, points at them, mocks them. Huh? The women make fun of them in particular, mock them. All type of INCLS. Huh? Now, it's a different part of the conversation. Yeah, the women under the age of 35 living at home with their parents. What did we think was going to happen? Huh? What did we think was going to happen? I said tied by the hip. That's what I meant. Wait, so traditionally the men and the women move out, they get their own place, especially since people been, shacking up before getting married, get their own place and decide whether they'll get married or not, or have children in wedlock or not, and how that goes. And we thought that the men were either not going to be able to do it or refusing to do it, or a combination of both. And the women were going to do what exactly? What exactly was going to happen with the women? Oh, we're here now. Oh, yeah. The women were going to move out on their own and afford what? 22 and 24 and 25 and $2,600 a month rent by themselves? Even $1,800 a month rent by themselves? And a 4 and 5 and 6 and 7 and $800 a month car note, and groceries and utilities, and just play around money for the next week or two until they get paid again? Huh? We thought that was going to happen, and we're here now. And how is that working exactly? Huh? So this idea of this rugged individualism that women swear they didn't agree with and weren't aligned with, and yeah, they are. Well, we're here now. Huh? And my apologies, y'all, for that. Backup sensor. Yeah. And races, for a group of socialists, they sure do have capitalistic mindset when it comes to relationships. Everything they do for a man, they need a financial compensation. Yeah, because they don't want to admit the limits of feminism. Ray, I'm glad you actually made that comment, because that's the direction we're going in right now. Yeah, because they don't want to admit the financial limits of feminism. Women got to fund their own life completely. Huh? You want to know the limits of feminism? Men not engaging in this. Let's read this again. The average man spends $5,000 to $12,000 more per year when in relationship. Huh? Another sign of feminism. Black and Latina women who never marry are the least wealthy in the U.S. Huh? Another sign. A new study shows millennial men are not interested in going out as much as women. Another sign. Men, where have you gone? Please come back. Uh-oh. Yeah, there's a limit to this feminism. Huh? All that economically unattractive men are leading to a downturn in marriage? Yeah. And we mock the men and don't you get it? Your life expectancy is longer when you're married. Don't you get it? Yeah, what about your mental health? Z almost dropped. I almost dropped that word. Oh, I had to reel that back. What about your mental health, lady? Huh? I said tied by the hip. That's what I meant. Huh? So yeah, the limit of feminism. So yeah, they might actually mean it. No, they don't. Huh? All that socialist talk and leftist talk and yeah, that means you gotta fund this. You gotta fund your life by yourself. Can a handful of women do it? Yes. Can most? No. White, black, Latina, Asian, or otherwise. Can most women do it? No. Huh? That's why I keep on spamming this clip. Z, you wanna play it again? Play it again.
I was like, oh, this is gonna make feminism look bad. Welcome to the Bell Hooks Book Club! Just as it was misguided for reformist feminist thinkers to see freedom as simply women having the right to be like powerful patriarchal men, so it was simplistic to imagine that the liberated man would simply become a woman in drag. Yet this was the model of freedom offered men by mainstream feminist thought. Men were expected to hold on to the ideas about strength and providing for others that were a part of patriarchal thought, while dropping their investment in domination and adding an investment in emotional growth. This vision of feminist masculinity was so fraught with contradictions, it was impossible to realise. No wonder then that men who cared, who were open to change, often just gave up, falling back on the patriarchal masculinity they found so problematic. The individual men who did take on the mantle of a feminist notion of male liberation did so only to find that few women respected this shift. Once the new man that is the man changed by feminism was represented as a wimp, as overcooked broccoli dominated by powerful females who were secretly longing for his macho counterpart, masses of men lost interest. So I'm very aware that I live in a bit of a bubble with this stuff. The people who I grew up with and the people who I now like to spend time with as an adult are all pretty committed to anti-patriarchal values and principles, like properly. Like most of my female friends genuinely don't want a protector or a provider. They don't want any of the patriarchal stuff. They're not doing this halfway house thing. But like I say, I know that that's a bubble. And I know that if I just look a centimetre past the bubble, I can quite clearly see that there are a lot of women in the world who really uphold this standard of patriarchal masculinity in overt ways and in covert ways. And a lot of these women have kind of melded this with the idea of feminism in a way that I find really annoying. Like a few years ago, I came across this idea for the first time that actually it's feminist to expect the man to pay on a date because men on average earn more than women on average, and women on average spend more on makeup and their looks and stuff, and that's why it's actually good to expect men to pay on a date. And I was really disappointed by that. I really was. I was like, oh, this is going to make feminism look bad. And it just felt so like unradical, you know, like I to be clear, I'm not a rad fem, I'm not a radical feminist, but I do think all feminism should be radical and should be pushing against.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, because they don't want to spend their own money and because they don't got it. Huh? We went to a nice date and it was expensive. It was $200. She don't want to pay for her half. That's $100. She don't got it. She definitely ain't paying for both of us. She definitely don't got it. Z, can't you say it better? Yes, Z could say she doesn't have it. Yes, Z could say it like that. She don't got it. Huh? That's why the military say freedom ain't free. Freedom's not free. Your freedom cost, ladies. You want to be free from men? I hope you can fund it. Huh? Tied by the hip. The ladies wanted to go on their little rogue mission. Huh? Talk about Rogue One. Y'all want to go on your rogue mission, do y'all hyper independence thing, middle finger to the men, particularly in the black community. Oh boy. And then you get into your 50s and you start sounding like this.
For your night. That's a very pro-woman, amazing, like strong, independent woman. But might I add another angle? I would feel like, why the hell ain't no one trying to scoop me up to save my life? Am I ugly? Are they better looking than me? Like, why are they getting saved and I'm over here working, taking on extra shifts now because she got Richard Gere that came and scooped her up and now she got an easy life and now I got extra corns on my toes and my back hurts because no one's saving me. So you have a very positive attitude. I would have been a little bitter like, why the fuck? Why not me? Why not? I don't want to be irresponsible. I'm sick of it. I'm tired of the goddamn cape. Somebody save me. I want to be Julia Roberts on Hollywood Boulevard in cheap shoes when some guy comes and saves me. I have worked hard since I was 14 and I had to pay. I'm sick of it, Erica.
I do understand.
I understand what you're saying. Classy and independent. It's thankless. I've been dating since the 1900s and 80 something, and I'm still single. I'm tired, Erica. You found your man. Don't hate. Let me live it. Let me vent. You're off the strip. I am still on it. I'm in the trenches, and it sucks. I'm sick of being independent. I fucking hate paying for my fucking Range Rover, my other car, my mortgage insurance, my freaking cell phone, computer, Wi-Fi. I am sick of it. I need some guy with a bad health to jump on in and interrupt and say, let me take you off your shift. You've been working hard enough. So that's cute what she's doing. I'm not doing that. We are different. I'm tired. I've proven myself. And it only impresses other women. She's like, oh, that's amazing. My friend's independent. These men don't care. Come and save me. Some chic, minus the dookie. Just please come and save me. I'm tired. I'm tired, Erica. I don't want to do it no more. Where's my Melania? I want the Melania Trump plan. I'm sick. I've proven myself. Since 1988.
At 88.
I'm tired. I was 15 out of paper route.
Damn, that's a long time.
72 clients. 30-cent tip for some of you bastards in East Providence, Rhode Island on 2nd Street. I remember I gave you papers 7 days a week, and on Sunday you gave me a 30-cent tip. I'm tired. So I'm glad it worked out for you, but I'm not there.
Being a strong, independent woman since 1988 is a lot, Claudia.
Since Salt and Pepper came out.
That's a lot.
I'm tired.
Damn.
So yes.
Damn.
Excuse me if I'm a little frustrated. So I envy the girls that got taken off the pole, so to say.
Nobody said nothing about no damn pole.
But metaphorically.
Yeah, nobody said what my point was, because here's the thing. The point was that this is a
take off the cape, Erica. We lost the election. We're not doing this anymore.
I'm not.
Soft life. Hookers are winning.
All about.
Hoes are winning. Hookers are in the White House again. First lady, if you will. I'm over it. It's no one cares. Nobody cares about independence anymore. But I respect it. But they don't.
I get it.
Shout out to Chef Mike Roundtable. What's going on? Look, he says rogue mission or rug mission. Hysterical. First, Chef Mike, look, these ladies be thumping. They be fighting. They have the highest DV rate. Yeah, it's gonna be a rug mission for what? 2-3 months, 6 months before it's let's get ready to rumble in that apartment. It'll be a rug mission for a short time. That's a short ass rug mission. It's gonna be WWF, WWE in there, UFC in that house. The ladies are starving and their egos. Oh, their egos. See, they were talking so much crap in person in real life and online. They don't know. They do not know how to come humbly and say, I'm starving. They were living vicariously through name the celebrity, the female celebrity. They were living vicariously through name the female internet social media influencer on TikTok, on YouTube, on Instagram, on Facebook, etc., etc. They living vicariously. They watching Sierra 7. They watching Tracee. They were watching Paris Milan. They're watching, right, Real Talk with Yanni and all of those folks. They praying their Sierra prayers. Huh? All of that. They were living vicariously through Ebony K. Williams. She better than that bus driver. Why would they even ask her that? Why would she ask her that question? Well, we're here now. Huh? What happened? Y'all didn't see Cardi B as low key right now. Now Cardi B's your class enemy. When she was back in the hood, not so much. And yeah, she says certain leftist, air quotes, leftist things. Yeah, we know she was a Bernie supporter. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Huh? But y'all living vicariously through Meg Thee Stallion and Glorilla and Cardi B. Huh? And those women could at least financially afford to be single. Huh? They could financially afford to be single. You cannot. This is not Mr. Z begging. This is Mr. Z telling. You cannot. A sandwich, a smile, and anyway, moving along. Saint Cyr says, Talk Z, these hoes are way too parasocial and taking on the lives of other women in their heads. They treat, you know, you if you consume too much of this of your favorite content creator and you watching all of their glamorous trips and you following Young Miami and all this other stuff, she's almost like your neighbor now in your head. She's your friend now. And she living the glamorous life that you're not living, and it's eating at you. It's eating away at you. And not in a good way neither. Huh? And that's how these ladies are living. It's eating away at you and not in a good way. Huh? Joe say Joe knows how Mr. Z speaks. Liberation from men, huh? Okay, watch this. Exactly. Exactly. And what St. Cyr said, these parasocial relationships got these women all the way messed up. Huh? Black Guru said, wasted all that light skin pretty on some bull. Say that. Huh? Chef Mike said, hashtag not in a good way. Look, those parasocial relationships are eating away at them and not in a good way. You hear me? Huh? It reminds me of the clip of the young lady saying she don't eat crab legs or crabs because how would you like if somebody cracked you open and ate your insides? And in the middle of her saying that, she stopped mid-sentence and like, oh, yeah, I forgot. Oh, that was hysterical. That video will never get old. Huh? So now the ladies are going to be approaching. I agree with Jason Black 150%. I think he said that it got to be a year ago at this point. And BGS been saying, oh, they're going to come back to that table. And they're going to be some of them, let's be honest, some going down to that bridge, but some of them going to come back to that table real humble.
I'll do whatever you want. I'll cook for you, wait on you, make love to you. I can make you happy, Josh. I can make you so happy. No.
Huh? How are the men going to be talking to them?
What would you say you do here?
How the Saint Cyr's going to be looking at them? The Rodri Report's going to be looking at him like this too. gonna try to put their bid in with BGS. BGS gonna be looking at them like this too. And Charles. And Ed. Huh? They waiting for Trell's youngest kid to get out the house. They will be looking at Trell. Trell gonna be looking at them like, what? Huh? Yikes. Trell said, shout out to Josh. You hear me? Chef Mike said, that was the coldest no. It gotta be, look, I'm Mr. Z. First of all, half of y'all older than Z, so I ain't giving y'all no advice. I will say, you know what it is. To all my subscribers, especially the young brothers, your life is ahead of you. You climbing up that corporate ladder. You're about to finish school, whatever journey you're on. Appreciate they're going to be chasing you. Find the one that actually gives a F about you, and that's the one you attach to. All the rest of them are just looking for a come up, and not in a good way, once again. As a matter of fact, some of them are actually looking for a come up that way too, so they could use the baby against you and yeah, just child support. So that way too. Yeah, actually that way too. Yes, actually. Huh? Yikes. Shay Sade on her channel right now got the whole setup of the women saying, I love you, black man, I love you. Wait a minute, where were y'all all of 3 years ago? Not even 3 years ago, Z. 2 years ago, not even that long ago, Z. 7, 8 months ago, there you go. Huh? What happened? All these, I love you, black man. What happened? Huh? Those AI jobs coming, huh? Slashing jobs is happening. Automation is happening. Life is happening. Huh? The Jamaican lady tried to tell y'all.
We're losing our men. Yeah, we're losing our men. I said it. And we're not losing our men because there's a shortage of men and them in jail or them gay or them married. No, we're losing our men because we're not treating them correctly. So therefore they're going to all other races. Yes. And those races know how to speak to our men. Those races know how to respect our men. So let me just tell you something. For all of you who go and come to me now and come for me and say, me don't want them, you're this and you're that. I do not care. It matters not to me what you feel, because you're probably one of them who don't have a man either. So let me just tell you something. If we want to keep our men in our fold, in our community, you know, and build our blackness and our race, remember me told you something. Respect them. Stop emasculating them. Stop castrating them. Stop reminding them of what them do and what them do, because you are the things too. You understand? Remember me told you right now, say, we are losing our men. We are to all other races. And for my Jamaican people who are in Jamaica with our 98% black population, me not talk to Uno, because Uno sometimes go on like say Uno not travel, or the few that can, or the many that can, or whatever. Look at what is going on outside of Jamaica and you will see exactly what I'm talking about. We are losing men. I'm going to tell you something too. As soon as your man travel, what you think will happen? As soon as your son travels, what you think will happen? And just your friend travel, what you think will happen? Once they get used to another race and how they are treated and respected, what you think will happen? We need to do better as females, as women, and those women who are in marriages and you think it's solid, think again. If you don't respect on a man, so remember I told you, right?
And she tried to warn y'all, heavy Jamaican accent and all. Huh? Big Mo said my favorite part. Tink again. Hear me? Charles said, remember me told you exactly. That's all it is, but to her, I would say women probably, if she does have a daughter around her daughter's age, they don't care nothing about that. Huh? They don't care nothing about that. They think they could thug it out. They could tough it through. Lose men? Lose what? I'm trying to get rid of them. Lose what? All right. Huh? Because if you're earning $48,000 a year and you living with your parents, your mom, she got you paying a bill or two. Oh, you can live pretty okay. You don't gotta worry about mortgage or rent. Maybe she got you paying the light bill, your cell phone bill. Huh? Okay, fine, you paying the light bill. The water bill that comes, what, every 3 months? Well, I think that's state by state, right? That ain't nothing too heavy. So yeah, you could push your baby Benz, you could push your Benz CLA, your Benz C class, your Lexus IS, your Tesla Model 3. Your overhead not that serious. That's why. Huh? So for those of you that missed this earlier, I'm gonna play this because this is the crux of everything. Once again, tied by the hip. So y'all listen to this closely and see how the women are finding themselves. The same women that were mocking and making fun of the men all of yesterday, doesn't sound like they're doing too great either, which is understandable. Society's changing, economy's changing, right? Earthquakes happening essentially. But these women thought they were impervious. And yeah, about that.
You know, have you noticed something pretty striking happening with adult relationships in America lately? It seems like people are way less likely to be married or even living with a partner compared to the past.
Oh, definitely. It's a big shift.
We hear a lot about, teens dating less, but this adult thing feels deeper, maybe. So our mission today is really to dig into this relationship recession using the insights you've pulled together. What's actually going on?
Yeah, it's quite stark when you look at the numbers. The national marriage rate, it's hovering near its all-time low.
Wow.
And get this, for the first time, like ever in recent generations, women under 35 are now more likely to be living with their parents than with a spouse or partner.
Living with their parents. That's quite a reversal from, say, the 70s or 80s.
A huge reversal. It really paints a picture.
So, okay, these are big changes. What are the main theories? What's driving this, do researchers think?
Well, one really prominent idea from Lyman Stone points heavily towards economics.
Economics. How so?
Historically, marriage often provided women with a kind of, insurance.
Yeah.
Against poverty, maybe violence, security, basically.
Right.
And even today, a man's likelihood of being in a relationship is still pretty tightly linked to his income. Stone's point is, quite frankly, that women generally don't invest in long-term relationships with men who have nothing to contribute economically.
That's a blunt way to put it, but I guess it reflects a certain reality, and the data backs that up.
It does, quite dramatically. Think about this. Over the last 50 years, overall national real earnings have doubled.
Okay.
But for single men without a college degree, their inflation-adjusted earnings around age 45 have actually fallen by nearly 25%.
They've fallen by a quarter, while the average doubled. That's staggering.
It is. And it means, like Stone suggests, many younger men just might not fit the traditional image of marriage material anymore.
Mm-hmm.
And John Byrne Murdoch's work really highlights this too. He shows the decline in coupling is sharpest among the poorest groups.
So the economic divide is widening in relationships too.
Exactly. Over the past 40 years, coupling dropped more than twice as fast for people without college degrees compared to graduates. That's a complete flip from how things looked around 1980.
A dramatic historic inversion, as he called it. Okay, so the economic angle is really powerful. But wasn't there another massive shift around the 70s? I'm thinking about contraception.
Absolutely crucial point. Before easy, cheap birth control was widely available, sex and commitment were much more tangled up.
Right, the whole shotgun marriage idea. An unexpected pregnancy often meant a wedding, quickly.
Precisely. And economists, George Akerlof and Janet Yellen, they pointed out back in '96 that contraception effectively helped disentangle sex and marriage.
Disentangle. Interesting term.
Yeah, it reduced that sort of implicit promise to stay together just because sex had occurred, or even if a pregnancy resulted. And they linked that in part to a rise in kids born to single parents, especially in lower income groups.
Okay, so we have economics, we have contraception. Is this mainly an American phenomenon, or are we seeing this elsewhere?
Oh, it's definitely not just America.
Yeah.
Gender researcher Alice Evans has shown pretty clearly that coupling is declining, well, almost everywhere.
Everywhere. Like what?
There. Iran, for instance.
Yeah.
Annual marriages there dropped something like 40% in just 10 years.
40%, wow.
Yeah. And what's interesting globally is this dual effect of like smartphones and social media. On one hand, maybe some physical isolation.
Sure.
But on the other, it's opened women's eyes globally to, possibilities for their own careers, personal growth. their expectations are rising.
And if potential partners don't support those rising expectations,
then relationships often falter. Plus, as one veterinarian in Tehran apparently noted, social media tends to glamorize the single life, setting up comparisons with potentially fake idols.
Right, the curated perfection online versus messy reality. So beyond the practicalities of economics and contraception, does this also suggest maybe a deeper cultural thing? Like, are ideas about marriage changing?
I think that's definitely part of the story. There's a growing tendency to see marriage in, let's say, transactional terms.
Transactional? How do you mean?
Like seeing it as insurance, or just pooling resources, or even a lifestyle choice you can just abandon if it's not working out for you personally.
Less of a permanent commitment.
Exactly. It seems to be losing that older sense of being a moral covenant or a big shared public commitment. It's becoming more like a private experiment in self-fulfillment.
And that ties into ideas about freedom too, doesn't it? Is freedom about escaping limits or finding it within commitment?
That's a core tension, yeah.
Yeah.
The modern emphasis is often on freedom from obligations rather than, say, the older idea that real freedom is found through chosen commitments and duties.
It's fascinating how these big ideas filter down. So zooming out, why does this decline in coupling actually matter for society as a whole? What are the bigger ripples?
Well, several big things. First, falling coupling rates are a very strong predictor of falling fertility rates worldwide.
Okay, fewer relationships, fewer babies. Makes sense.
Right. Second, happiness. Research, like from economist Sam Peltzman, strongly links marriage with higher levels of happiness and life satisfaction, even more strongly than income, actually.
More than income, that's significant.
It is. And third, there's the issue of social isolation. Romantic isolation is rising, and it often goes hand in hand with general social isolation. This hits the poor the hardest. They often have less financial security and fewer close friends or long-term partners.
So it exacerbates inequality in a way.
In a sense, yes. And maybe there's even a civic health angle. If family life is seen as purely optional, purely private, does that affect our ability to engage in shared endeavor, the kind of habits democracy relies on?
That's a sobering thought.
Yeah.
Okay, so to try and bring this all together for you listening, it seems this global drop in coupling isn't down to just one thing. It's this potent mix of tough economic realities for many men combined with genuinely rising expectations among women.
Right, and layered on top of that is this deeper cultural shift in how we even think about marriage, commitment, and freedom itself.
Which really leaves us and you with a pretty big question to ponder, doesn't it?
I think so. What does it actually mean for a society when its most basic bonds, like family and partnership, start to be seen as just provisional, as temporary arrangements? And, maybe more importantly, what does it take to build or rebuild a common life where those lasting commitments feel like they truly make sense again?
Temporary. Is that why your 33 and 34-year-old daughters are still living at home with their parents? Huh? Yikes. And BGS says, what happens when the welfare cliff erodes? Well, if mom's on welfare and you 37-year-old living with her, ooh, you got problems. Huh? You're about to have some real problems on your hands. If you're on welfare, you better call one of them baby daddies up. Because he gonna have primary custody in a minute. Uh-oh. We already know black women ain't giving them no goddamn primary custody over my dead body. Black women ain't giving primary custody up. You're gonna have to fight them in the middle of the streets for that. Huh? Yikes. And shout out to Passport OG. Let me actually shout out Passport OG real quick. Passport OG did a masterful job because, of course, it's a fellow Dade County native, so I got to do it. Comparing, and I guess I'm going to have to link it now that I'm mentioning it, comparing Trick Daddy speaking about not dating anyone over the age of 35, talking about 35-year-olds, and Tracee Ellis Ross not really giving us an age, but saying very similar. So both of them are talking about their struggles dating, right? The opposite sex. But because Tracee Ellis Ross comes from a certain background, she's light-skinned, she's attractive, she's well-spoken, it's received differently. Although Trick Daddy's pretty much saying the same thing. Now he's being made fun of and he's being mocked and he's being told, who want to date you anyway? And right, and it's being framed like he's taking advantage of the naive and the gullible. Right? But they're saying pretty much the same thing. And this is something that Z has said before, particularly concerning the FDs of the world. Although we know they appreciate and they know what's going on, they have an agenda, and that YouTube money is real delicious and beautiful and great. Is is it that because you're viewing the world through a feminist lens, and because the women frame every interaction that doesn't have men bowing to them as some type of negative, like they're a victim of that? Is that why you don't appreciate when women are sneak dissing men? Like when Tracee Ellis Ross sneak diss the men of her age or a little bit older. Do y'all not appreciate that's what she's doing? Because she's framing it like they're seeped in some type of toxic masculinity. Y'all don't appreciate she's just saying that those dudes won't bow to her in her all greatness and her almighty greatness. So because Trick Daddy says it one particular way, like I can't deal with these old yitches because these old yitches don't listen, right? Because Trick says it that way, and because what Tracee Ellis Ross is saying, no, they're seeped in this toxic masculinity. Because she says it like that. She not sneak dissing. She not saying, hey, they just won't bow. They won't do what I say. They won't let me do whatever the hell I want to do and just fund it. Huh? Oh, man. So shout out to Passport OG for that. I'll put the link in the description box after the stream. Shout out to the replay gang. Y'all get to click that and be like, I know for many of you who may not have seen it, you're like, what you talking about, Z? But yeah, Passport OG did a really good job comparing and contrasting the two because they're essentially saying the same thing. They're similar-ish age. Huh? And what Trick said was like, hey, these old yitches are stubborn and they're not gonna listen. And Tracee Ellis Ross was saying, hey, these old Negroes, they ain't gonna listen. These old men, they ain't gonna listen. They won't bother me. Huh? And let's read this from Eurytus. And he says, Z, I've been working and keeping my head down. I took my friend's mom some shrimps Creole I made, and now she's hell, marrying childless 31-year-old female co-worker at me. I'm kind of lost on what you mean after you sent her, you bought her some shrimp Creole that you made, and now she's trying to get you to marry her, or she's sending a 31-year-old at you, and now she's hell, marrying a childish 31-year-old female co-worker at me. I'm a little lost with that second part of the statement. Maybe see, yeah. Oh, she's trying to set him up with a 31-year-old. Okay. Okay, Hail Mary. Okay. Yeah, you have to maybe say it like that. Okay. Yeah, look. In other words, she's saying a fine young man like you shouldn't be out here just living the bachelor life. You gonna have to have some type of anvil on your ankles. You go once again, shout out to Black Uru. Somebody got to pay for these hoes, and she's looking at you to pay for someone. Huh? So I'm guessing you're saying there's a 31-year-old single mom out here that she's trying to put you on, or put on you, better yet. Yikes. Some of the old heads, the older ladies, they see what it is. Oh, you out here living the bachelor life and you making pretty good money and you got your head on your shoulders and you seem pretty mature. And in a well-ordered society, actually, that wouldn't be that bad. I'm assuming you're saying the young lady's a single mom. Yeah, if she wasn't 31 and a single mom, okay, she's a year past what Raj says the due date, right? The right. Okay, but she's a single mom though. And even in the past, that might have not even been the end of the world. But as KMS said, these women have destroyed even stepdaddyism. It's all bad, y'all. It's all bad. You see how many times he had to say, it wouldn't even be that bad. Huh? The old heads know what it is. You young, you stable, you got your life ahead of you. You making pretty good money. They're like, oh, I got the perfect woman for you. You could save her from herself. Huh? You could save her from herself. In a well-ordered society, there would be nothing wrong with a more seasoned woman seeing a young man and saying, I got the perfect woman for you. Yeah, if she's childless and under 30, but okay, fine, she's not under 30. If she's childless, if she'll get on his program, huh? If she's not combative, huh? As dusty as I want to be, look, I ain't even gonna read that out loud. Yes, I will. And he says, cue Brandon Jamal. Huh? Uranus says, you look like a good workhorse. Yeah, that's essentially what it is. And to be fair to you, if we're gonna go a little black pill, but that is what we are. Are you gonna treat this workhorse? Are you gonna pet this workhorse? Are you gonna do right by this workhorse? Are you gonna got 3,000 for this workhorse? Huh? Okay, workhorse. Are you gonna feed this workhorse? Are you gonna get on this workhorse program? If not, this workhorse gonna step pummel your ass. Or just leave. Huh? In in a well-ordered society, there's nothing wrong with someone who's more seasoned that knows a young lady, and you know what? I have the perfect young lady for you. As a matter of fact, I got like three. I know about three. Huh? If this one don't work out, I got another one for you, and I got another one for you. That's not bad. Single baby mama though. Huh? PGS and workers going overseas, you hear me? On a plane. Huh? Pig Mo says she got student loans. Huh? Ah, Uranus says she works at a casino. Uh, uh, I think you're going to see more of that. I think the shaming tactics are going to ratchet up, right? I think the women are going to play compliant. Huh? I think a handful of women will meet it, and the most won't. Ooh, goddamn. Huh? Talking about finding a needle in a needle stack. A handful of women will truly, really mean it. They weren't on the BS anyway. They only look like the same women because they might be the same women. Anyway, but I think a handful of women will truly mean it, and they go and get on your program, and the vast majority of them will play like that, get a kid from you, and that's your ass. Huh? Get that wedding ring from you, and in 4.5 years, 3 years, file for divorce on your ass. Huh? Charles said a handful. It's a handful. Something sticks with Z, and it's a bit sad. BGS saying, "I don't think they know how to." When BGS says, "I don't think these newfangled, I don't think black women know how to be a wife anymore. I don't think they know how to be a wife anymore. I don't think they know how to be nice to black men anymore." That's heartbreaking. And all it took was what? Really a good three, maybe four generations? Really a good three? The youngest of boomers, some of the boomers, Xers and millennials. Gen Z is off the goddamn chain. Huh? Ah. So that's not a good look. Cheryl said buzzer beater baby, then divorce. Horrible. Horrible. Huh? Because like boomers had the money, Xers had the culture, right? Millennials grew up with like came of age with social media and whatnot, right? The internet, the internet, like boomers had the internet, but like with not dial up, high speed internet, right? And social media. Gen Z, on the other hand, they came of age and all of that was already there. I can't even say they grew up with it. It was there. Gen Z were being given a cell phone at the age of 1 and 2 and 3, right? All they have is this alternative reality. I said this one time when I was critiquing Chrissy, I think it was like maybe sometime last year or whatever. Appreciate that 23-year-old, 24-year-old was listening to you when she was 14 and 15 years old. Like that's why I'm careful with my content. I know some of y'all don't think I am, but like there's certain places I'm not gonna go with it. Because you never know what 13, 14, 15, 16-year-old is listening to you. And shout out to Louis, Red Pill Sleeper Cell. He sent me the interview with the brother in Christelyn and Karazin. The brother that be on it's not Lapeef or Anton's channel. I want to say Anton's channel. And Christelyn and Karazin damn near trying to cop please and pretend like she wasn't saying some of the most outlandish things ever 6 and 7 and 8 years ago. Huh? I engage in the gender warring just a little bit. What's going on, Meech? And she says she's kind of turning a new leaf because she been on TikTok and she see how insane the women sound. Christelyn and Karazin, which you don't appreciate, or maybe you do, but you're too afraid to admit to yourself, is those are your ideological grandchildren. I'm gonna have to link that in the description box too, right? Those are your ideological grandchildren. Whether they know you or not, whether they know of Shira 7 or not, these are Shira 7 and you and a number of you from 8 years ago and such, 9 years ago, 10 years ago. Those are your ideological grandchildren. They sound absolutely insane because people like you kick the ball off. Y'all kicked that ball rolling. Y'all the one who jumped it off on social media. So you could say all the men started it all you want. The men are not sounding like Cynthia G. That's more your ideological daughter than your ideological granddaughter. Huh? That's what the men are not doing that. The men are not talking about women every 5 seconds like they're a burden. And if anyone should be talking about the other like they're a burden, a financial burden, once again, the average man spends $5,000 to $12,000 more per year when in a relationship. So if anybody should be talking about the other like they're a burden, but the men aren't doing it. Christelyn, Karazin, I appreciate you. You try to moonwalk out of everything you were saying all of 5+ years ago, 4+ years ago, 3+ years ago. Huh? She's trying to moonwalk like, yeah, I gauged it a little bit, just a little bit. Big D and swag. That wasn't you, Christelyn, Karazin? That wasn't you? No? Black men are nothing but big D and swag? That wasn't you? What happened? These women talk crazy. Then they're met with the next generation of them, and then the next generation of them. And then they go to, oh my God, what happened? How did we get here? You. Same thing with Chrissy. Somebody in her comments, one of these young ladies in her comments a few years ago, talking about, I ain't dating nobody until I end up with a millionaire. If I can't get a millionaire, I don't want nobody. And Chrissy was like, whoa, 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 whoa. She had to do a whole stream about that comment. Yeah, you. Huh? Y'all talk crazy. The women hear you accurately. All that nuance crap y'all doing. The women read right through that. They know what y'all really saying. Huh? All that nuance crap y'all doing. And the young ladies go right to extreme because that's what you're really doing. You're hiding behind nuance. And once the women come out the gate with it, you're like, oh, wait, how do we end up here? That's not what I'm saying. No, that is what you're saying. Huh? That is what you're saying. Huh? Kim Foster reading through her comments, one of the women in her comments, and she messed around and read it live. One of the women in her comments, yeah, these men are telling these women to stay away from single mothers. And Kim Foster read it, and she was like, yeah. What happened? Because Kim Foster already knows she gonna tell her son to stay the hell away from single mothers if she have a son. She already know that. Huh? As Mr. Z said, the title says tied by the hip. Y'all talked crazy in person, but definitely online on social media for 15 some odd years. Absolutely crazy. It got worse and worse and worse and worse. To the point you had Cynthia G talking about deleting unborn black male babies. And now, because the economy ain't moving the way y'all thought it was going to move, and because Trump's back in office doing everything he said he was going to do, huh? Took a chainsaw to those nice cushy, federal jobs, huh? And because it's looking like, oh, we ain't gonna be able to just give black men the middle finger and sell off in the sunset, eating white women's crumbs, because it's looking like that might not happen, because it's not gonna happen. Now people starting to moonwalk a little bit, huh? Yikes. Oh, that was before social media, really, right? Or at least before high-speed internet social media. And Meech says, don't forget how much worse it got between the Oprah era and the Jerry Springer era. True. Right? And Revlon says, they doing that cringe I love black men videos. Here's the kicker, Revlon. Some of that might be real. What that mean? Oops. Huh? Okay, lady. Some of that might be real. You might not have been one of those. You might be too young. Uh-oh. You better tell your elders to shut the hell up. Hey, BGS, they better be going at these black women elders like they be going at you. Y'all better be going at them, those black exer women. Y'all better be telling them y'all the ones who messed it up for us. Huh? Those young black boomer women. I don't want to hear nothing from no black women under the age of about 30, 35. If you ain't gonna tell them those exer black women and those young boomer black women that they messed it up for you. If you ain't gonna do that, then you don't really mean it. Huh? If you don't tell them that they had crap attitudes, they couldn't make it work with men, and they salted the earth, and they tried to indoctrinate you into the anti-black male crap, turn you into a little misandrist. If you ain't gonna say that to Xer and Boomer and even older millennial black women, I don't want to hear it. I love you, black man. Prove it. Huh? If you ain't gonna tell Kim Foster to shut the hell up, I don't want to hear it. Huh? That's all it is. Say that. Charles says they need to check Auntie and Nana. And Nano. I said Nana. And Nano. Huh? Meech says, and we want to see video of the confrontation. Receipts, please. Ladies, if you ain't gonna do that, I don't want to hear anything. You BSing. You're just looking for a nice, comfortable place to stay, in your mind at least, until we get some Democrats in office and they reverse all of this Trump stuff. So you think, so you hope. Someone said it earlier. I think, was it you, Revlon? Someone said it earlier. Z, they only doing this for the next 4 to 8 years until they get a Democrat in there. But who told them the Democrats go reverse all of this? Huh? Who told them that this wasn't going to be the new normal? A slimmer U.S. government? Oh, Big Mo. Okay, Big Mo's the one who said it. Okay. That second shooter drop is going to be a mug. That AI shoe? Oh. And I was just listening. Oh yeah, that's what I'm going to cover. I said it, the economic circuit pretty much saying the same thing me and Black Uru and BGS were saying a couple months ago on the stream I did about the new social contract. Huh? I'm gonna cover that in the next couple days. It's gonna be a new normal. All right, y'all. Look. South Florida is being South Florida, and it is lightning and thundering outside, and I think that's my cue. Right. So, I wanted to cover this because I said we were tied by the hip, and that's what I meant when I said it the first time. I don't know what world women thought we were in, where the men were going to suffer and maybe stumble and maybe even fumble, possibly crumble, but definitely stumble and fumble, and the women were going to be perfectly okay, and they were some type of mythical, magical creatures that the men and the boys were going to stumble and fumble, and that was going to have no bearing on how the women were going to turn out. And we're here now. And women under the age of 35 are living at home with their parents because what did we think was going to happen? Huh? And Zulu said, and we tied about it at the hip. It's time for me to break that chain of Saint Cyr said similar earlier. Saint Cyr said he got to be a surgeon. He got to cut that. Huh? Yikes. Hey, TB, I've been saying this. That's one thing. Everybody got to say that for Z. BGS done heard it. AB done heard it. Mr. Z been saying this. And TB says they better hope JD Vance don't get in office. LMAO gonna be a decade of level setting. Look, I've been since I was introduced to JD Vance. And that was before he was even nominated. I heard about him on the periphery because I knew about the book and whatnot. But when his name started floating and when he was chose, and I did my digging and trying to hurry up and trying to find out more about the book before all the new media stuff started piling on. Because by the way, if you get to somebody late, you got to hurry up and do as much research as humanly possible before all the media catches up. Because now it's going to be hard to find their stuff. Well, maybe not that hard, but a little difficult to find their stuff from 5 years ago and 4 and 3 years ago and whatnot. So I started digging, and I just smelled it on him. Oh, this is a white manosphere dude. And that's all I've been saying about him since. I'm like, oh, he a white manosphere dude. And he got an Indian wife? Oh, yeah, he a white manosphere dude. Right? That's a white manosphere dude. Huh? Funded by Peter Thiel. Oh, that's a white manosphere dude. Huh? Peter Thiel be saying all type of weirdo black pill stuff. Do you think human beings have a right to live? And Peter Thiel, wait, what? You didn't answer. Uh-oh. Huh? I think they asked Curtis Yarvin, do you think slavery should have ended or whatever? And he was like, all right. Yeah, I've been faulting. Yep. And St. Cyr says, look into Red Caesar. Huh? Yep. Peter Millet and Yarvin got some ish schemed up for our ass if Vance gets the reins. Yeah. Yep. Huh? What's going on, Raj? It's real out here. Raj, where do ladies think they were going? So let me get this right. And that's if I even agree with their framing, which I don't, but fine. Raj, where did the ladies think they were going? So the men were going to fumble, and the men were going to be living at home with their parents at the age of 33 and 34 and 35, but the women were going to be straight. Somebody explain to me this delusion. And that, once again, that's if I agree with the framing. Say that, AB. And AB says, J.D. Vance ain't no joke. Huh? These delusional ass people were mocking and making fun of the men. Oh, look, they're INCLSs and they're still living at home with their parents in your mama's basement and the Cheeto dust and all this other weird stuff. And they playing video games. All they doing is playing video. And that's why Mr. Z started saying that. Oh, yeah, we play video games and have the Jergens lotion. And yeah, better than being in a relationship with your bum ass. Huh? And so the ladies were making fun of and mocking the men. Come to find out, in actuality, y'all living at home with your parents.
You know, have you noticed something pretty striking happening with adult relationships in America lately? It seems like people are way less likely to be married or even living with a partner compared to the past.
Oh, definitely. It's a big shift.
We hear a lot about, teens dating less, but this adult thing feels deeper, maybe. So our mission today is really to dig into this relationship recession using the insights you've pulled together. What's actually going on?
Yeah, it's quite stark when you look at the numbers. The national marriage rate, it's hovering near its all-time low.
Wow.
And get this, for the first time, like ever in recent generations, women under 35 are now more likely to be living with their parents than with a spouse or partner.
Living with their parents. That's quite a reversal from, say, the 70s or 80s.
A huge reversal. It really paints the picture.
Uh-oh. Women under the age of 35 are more likely to be living with their parents than a spouse or partner. We were just told this about the men a couple years ago, and everybody thought it was funny. Y'all remember? Everybody thought it was funny. Everybody went to making fun of the men and mocking the men. Where's the articles, and where are the news segments, and where are the pundits and all you talking heads on YouTube? Where are all the ladies and the men to make fun of and mock the women and call them losers for being 33 and 34, living at home with their parents? First off, if you're not married and have no kids, and Mr. Z don't know if that's the worst thing in the world. First off, you should be married with kids. But, okay, fine. If you're not married with no kids, okay, maybe it's not the worst thing in the world. What Mr. Z is saying is, I thought we were trying to be equal. We made fun of the men when this information came out about the men a few years ago, right? What happened? Huh? What happened? And the Roger Report says, women are just as crazy as they are lazy. Robin. Right? AB says, the Democrats have no answer for JD Vance, Jasmine Crockett, or AOC versus Vance. Jasmine Crockett, I don't even see her being a contender, period, really, but definitely not against JD Vance. I think they're gonna keep her in Congress to be Maxine Waters 2.0, to be honest with you. I think that's her role, is to be low-key Maxine Waters 2.0. Maybe less talented, but yeah. AOC, do I see the Democrats running AOC? Ooh, that's a hard one. Maybe. I think Vance still wins, though. Right? That's assuming if it was AOC or versus Vance, right? Assuming Vance runs for office, I think he gonna run. I definitely think he gonna run. But AOC versus Vance, yeah, I don't see AOC beating Vance if it was AOC. But that's if the Democrats choose to run her. And I don't know if they will. Right? She's definitely one of the bigger names in the Democratic Party, but I don't know how enthusiastic people are about her as of now. Well, the Dems would need to run a straight man. Yeah. And Trell says AOC would need to earn a Senate seat first. Trell said not in that House seat. Trell said, yeah, the House seat, nope. Right? And then they just snub her for a cabinet position. Somebody correct Z if I'm wrong. What cabinet position did they just snub her for? Right? So, yeah. Leon, this is what I'm saying. Leon said, AB, they already set her down and told her to shut up for a little while. Ron says, the Dems have already lost the next election. We're just waiting to go through the formality at this point. Ron said, hey, we gonna have another election, hopefully. But yeah, they already lost that. Oh, KW Dawn says Crockett may not keep her seat. Her district is being redrawn. Uh-oh. Anyway, so y'all trying to tell me that we gonna have President Vance in 2028. That's what I just heard. That's what y'all saying to me right now. Unless the Democrats could pull a rabbit out the hat, right? That's what I just heard. Oh man. So I wanted to play this for y'all because we're tied by the hip. Shout out to Saint Cyr. Saint Cyr said we're about to cut that. Zula said, "Where's my chainsaw?" Right. So I don't know what these people were talking about. I don't. Maybe it's just Z. Z is an independent person, but this hyper individuality thing, I don't know where people got this from. Maybe it's Z. I appreciate and know I have a family, I have relatives, I have friends, I live in a community, I'm part of the black race, I'm Haitian descent, I'm American, born and raised. Maybe that's just Z. Like, I appreciate that these attachments mean something. And like, yes, what y'all eat does make me poop, and what I eat do make y'all poop. I don't know where everybody got this weirdo thing from, where like, what I eat don't make you poop, and what you eat don't make. I don't know where people got this crap from. Huh? That's a good song reference. And St. Cyr says, Alexa, play Cut It by OT Genesis. Okay, y'all hear it. Y'all hear South Florida being South Florida right now, y'all. So we're going to end it on out. Oh, man. And Ron says, the only way Vance doesn't get elected is if Jesus comes back beforehand. Look, man, I'm telling y'all now, that man got a plan. If Vance gets elected, do y'all appreciate it's really going to be Curtis Yarvin and Peter Thiel running the goddamn country? Oh, look, Peter Thiel damn near plucked this dude out of Yale. Out of obscurity at Yale, if you could be obscure going attending Yale, but still, right? Do y'all appreciate? Is we already got the tech guys. I mean, Elon and Trump, especially over the past few months, yeah, they've been going back and forth over the past few month or so. But if JD Vance becomes president, oh, hey ladies, what y'all said about Handmaid's Tale again? Oh, it's funny because it's true. No? Saint Cyr says, Z, you gotta run a Red Caesar Duma stream. Look, I'll run it. I'll do it. I'll do it. I want Black Uru there. I want the Raj Report there. I want BGS there. We'll do it. Definitely want Black. I want my Chicago heads there. I definitely want Black Uru and the Raj Report there. We'll do it. Right? Definitely. So y'all hear that? That is South Florida weather. See, Mr. Z should have been inside. Should have been inside long time ago. But on that note, y'all, we'll pause right here. Love, peace, chicken grease. We went way off into politics, which Mrs. E loved that. So so we'll pause right there. Love, peace, and chicken grease. Look, Spain Man just walked in and Mr. Z ended up. Y'all go check out other Black Manosphere content, other non-Manosphere content, for the love of God. Shout out to the ladies and their reach back. In Accountable Commentary said something about them reach back. So there you go. And yeah. Y'all have a great rest of y'all day. Great rest of y'all night. And we'll leave with one comment. And Chef's Mike says, the pit crew will be there. See, the pit crew will be there. All right, y'all. Mrs. E out.